Hello everyone, welcome to Opportunity Attacks. This is episode 7 of our D&D actual play of Keep on the Borderlands. If this is your first time tuning in, you may want to start in episode 1 for context. The link is in the description below. Please like and subscribe so you will know when our next episode will be uploaded. If you've made it this far, I salute your dedication. I think it's time for a real quick update to freshen you up on the story. The heroes went to Olka to help their old mentor Bernard, who was having goblin problems. They tracked the goblins down to an abandoned building in the middle of the woods, which they were headquartered out of. After killing all the goblins, they found a note on the goblin leader. The note was instructing them to disrupt trade with Olka and the Keep on the Borderlands. After reporting their success to Bernard, they then went back to the Keep to tell someone about this note. They spoke with Talbot, the captain of the Keep on the Borderlands, who informed them they were also having similar problems with the road connecting the Keep and the towns of Quebec and Aquitani. These two towns were in dire need of food due to this trade deficit. Talbot hired the heroes to escort a caravan to both Aquitani and Quebec. The heroes made it to Aquitani and delivered their goods. All right, so when we last left off, the adventurers were assaulted by, once again, another ambush via a strange bird chirp signal to ambush the heroes going from Aquitani. Now they're going from Aquitani to Quebec is where they're going to now, and then Quebec to the Keep. They were ambushed, and they pulled through. They pulled through very, very well. So yeah, there we are. We did loot bodies. I do remember actually giving out gold.
Yeah, I think
or silver was what I gave out. I think
Tipperton ended up writing that down. I think.
Yeah, we already split the money.
There was
just a few arrows.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right.
What's his name? Vinco comes up behind you, kind of limping, and he says, "I'm glad I'm going to be actually sitting down the rest of the time." Says you guys should definitely take a break, and we'll hold up here for a moment, and then we'll head on our way. Now our original plan was you were actually going to be getting out of the forest, I believe by nightfall, if I remember. It was the goal. Yeah. So he's not wanting to dally too long. Are you guys going to take a short rest? Okay.
No, I'm good.
No, you're okay. Everybody's good?
We kind of already did with
we're
looting
okay.
and such,
We
can press on.
Okay.
I can not hear you at all.
So yeah. He ends up getting the wagons going after about 15 minutes, and you're heading on your way. The rest of the journey through the forest is completely uneventful. This forest is particularly thick. You've heard it called the Lurkwood. Now, around about nightfall is when you start noticing that the sun starts to go down. Vinco decides to go for another 1 mile or 2 miles down the path to get away from the forest. Sun goes down and you set up camp. You take your watches, and then the night is uneventful. Nothing really much happens. You can tell that it's getting darker now as the Saloon, that's the name of the moon, is becoming darker and darker as the days go by. Now it's just a little sliver. All right. You wake up the next morning. Everything is uneventful. All right. So now we're gonna go down to go down to the south. How many miles does it take to get to Quebec? So it's currently 6 o'clock in the morning.
$7 miles.
7 miles. Excellent. As you go down into the river valley, you spot a group of small wooden buildings approximately 40 feet from the edge of the river. They seem to be centered around a single stone building made of the same material as the keep. This square building is bigger than most of the other buildings in town. The front door is flanked by 2 columns which are covered in heavily weathered relief carvings. The other sides of the building are completely bare. There is one other building of note. It seems to be an all-purpose common building with no signs labeling it. This town seems to be taking advantage of 3 different ecosystems. There are a host of boats near the shallow banked river. In the back of the town is a small timber mill. They are also taking advantage of the open prairie, as they have sown fields surrounding the town. You are now in the river town of Quebec. All right, and that strange building is right here. It's definitely a different-looking building than you're used to seeing, for sure.
And we're coming in from here.
You'd be coming in, so this is actually the river, so you probably see the river on there. I might not have actually drawn it very... so yeah, it's actually on the river, so it's right here. So you're coming through this way, and I didn't draw a good chunk of the small buildings outside of it. I tended to keep that pretty blank. But there is definitely one larger building. Then, of course, the strange stone structure, which looks very strange. This right here is actually a mud sloping bank is what that is, and of course there is actually a trail to get down there if you're actually wanting to do that. All right, Vinco leads his deal right into the center of town, and says, "Well, guys, can you help me unload this?" He says, "I kind of got messed up from that."
Yeah, I got you.
All right. He tries to lend a hand. He starts stacking boxes here. He really doesn't actually mention anybody or tries to get anybody's attention. However, after a while, an old man with a patchy red beard comes from around the side of the building, the larger building, and he goes, "Hello. We weren't expecting a delivery. You didn't come by boat. I salute you for that. What are you bringing?"
What are we bringing, Vinco?
He says, "Well, let's crack one of these open. I was just told to bring it here." He cracks one open, and the old red-bearded guy kind of goes over and looks in it, and he's like, "Oh, we've been looking for this for a while. I'm glad you brought our we needed some linen." So eventually you undo all the deals, undo all the crates there. The old man comes over to you and he says, "People in these areas tend to know each other. Now, who do you happen to be? I know the Vinco man," but Vinco goes inside this building. Doesn't seem to say anything to you guys.
Me and my half-pint fellowship here. We come mostly from the south, but we're adventurers, and we're just looking for work protecting caravans and whatnot, and they got lucky finding us over at the keep of the Borderlands.
Yeah, apparently. So, you wouldn't happen to be needing food, would you?
Of course. Travelers are always hungry.
He says, "Well, come this way." He rounds the building and goes into where Vinco goes. Go ahead and give me a spot check, everybody. It's a DC of 10. That's not hard.
Where are you?
If you got a 10, you got it.
Oh, yeah, well, 13. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. You see a robed priest guy come from this side of the building, and he kind of does a lap around. He's wearing white robes, and has the symbol of Ogma on his tabard, I guess you'd call it.
Man, if only I had seen him.
All right. So,
hey, Durhill. Who's that guy? I point him out.
Oh, that must be that must be Titus Livius.
Isn't this the place where they said they had like some library or something?
Yeah, he was the priest of Ogma.
He's going over to the well right now, and he's drawing a bucket.
Looks like their well's functioning.
Yeah, unlike the other well.
So yeah, you.
I'll talk to him after food.
Okay.
Yeah, food.
You actually go inside. Now this is a very strange inn. I don't know what you'd call it. It has one table sitting next to a desk, sitting next to 2 rooms. That's all that's in there. It is a very all-purpose building. It's both a place you can eat, a place you can drink, and a place you can sleep. And since the old man basically comes over to you, he automatically brings you food. He says, "Well, if you need to stay the night here, you and Vinco are more than welcome to stay." free of charge. He also brings down one cup of ale for each of you. Of course, that one's on the house. Past that, it's on you.
I understand.
And he leaves you alone.
Greatly appreciated, sir.
Vinko goes directly to bed.
What time is it?
And it's not time to sleep. He's just resting is what he's doing. He's just laying down because he's very old. So what would it be? So it was 6 o'clock at the intersection. So how many miles did it take to get there? It's probably only midday at the most, I would guess. But
So it's 7?
seven. All right. So 7 miles. So that'd be okay. That's a good chunk a day. So you can move 24 in a day. You'd be there by before 12, I would guess. So yeah. You begin to eat your food. If there's nothing to say, then you finish your food, finish your ale, and eventually Vinko kind of comes back, stretches. This is after about an hour. And he says, well, guys, is there anything you need to have done in Quebec? Are we on our way?
I would like to talk to the priest of Agma first before we leave.
He says, okay, I'll get the boy. So you, what are you, you're gonna leave, and where are we going in the village?
To that strange-looking building.
The strange-looking building, now, this is made of the same material that you've seen. That's everything else has been made out of that's mysterious, that concrete-like structure that you don't know is concrete. You know it as a nethril building material, and that's pretty much it. The front of it is columned, and it has a very shallow sloped roof. Think of a Roman basilica front. However, the front is actually facing the river, which is very strange. That means there's not a lot of room to get in front of it. I'm assuming you're going in. The doors are open, of course.
Yeah, I'll go in.
Okay. You walk in and you see a blue-eyed, short blonde hair, cropped hair, sitting reading a book. You can tell on the wall there is a total of like 5 books on a shelf, which is pretty amazing and worth a lot of money. So,
hail, scholar of Agma.
He comes over and says, "Hello, child. I didn't know you were. How did you get here? You're not from here."
I am not. It's very studious of you, but I travel with my companions.
Huh. It's good. Welcome to the Temple of Agma, newly consecrated. Now, I know you most likely don't know how to read, but
actually, I know a thing or two about reading.
Oh, okay. Well, you probably know the basics then. Now, I'd like to teach you. Oh, okay, okay.
I know much more than that. I take out one of my books, and it's like a journal, pretty much of my journal, and shows like all the intricate drawings and like intricate sentences and everything.
He sits there for about a minute just flipping through it, and he goes, oh, okay, you've been to the keep, I can tell that. And you've been to Aquitani, I can tell.
Yes, I met with a priestess of Saloon and looked out their spyglass.
Oh, Esther, yeah, she's up there now, huh?
Yes.
Well, that's good to see that she's moving around the area. Good deal. Well, yeah, interesting. You are a very studious young man. He hands that book back, and he says, "Is there anything that I can do for you? A blessing that I can say? Anything that anything?"
Well, it always pleases me to find another one of the of people who seek knowledge and truth. I am a follower of Mistra myself, but I see that your library is lacking right now.
Well, I mean, you have to understand, it's hard to come by books.
Especially out here in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, that's, at one time, and most likely thousands of years ago, this was once and you can see, it actually once had books in there. There's spots in the concrete, basically, that are bookshelves, and he has one little row. It looks pathetic. He says, would you like to see my collection?
Yes, please.
You go over to the small little, and of course they have on the spine. They have what they actually have in them. You see, General Physics by Alchemius, Parallel Lives, and that's give me a history check on that one.
That's a natural 19.
Natural
It's gonna
19.
be a 24.
You've read that one before. That's actually a very, very famous deal where they take a person of today and then they take a Nethril person and they compare them and they contrast them and then you learn a lesson at the end of it. You've actually read that.
I share that with him too.
Oh, he says his eyes actually get very large when you say that. There's a book called Metamorphosis, The Art of Love. You haven't read that one. Poems, just called Poems. Confessions, the Works and Days, and then one that you've give me a history check on this one. It's called Volo's Guide to the North.
11.
It's by Volothamp Getterdam. And he says, unfortunately, this is the only contemporary book, and when I mean contemporary, I mean over 100 years old. And you can see it is so I don't know if you've ever seen when a spine on a book collapses, and it's a very thin book already, but it looks like it's battered. It looks horrible. So yeah.
Do you mind if I read this?
Oh, of course. No, take your time. You can tell there's desks. He's currently building desks. Apparently, he has a total of 3 study desks.
How many pages is it actually?
That one's only so if you're picking up that one,
Yeah.
The others are very thick tomes that are gargantuan. Here is exactly what it is. So when you pick it up out of the deal, give me a dexterity check.
Ugh, natural 1.
Oh yeah, you drop that book and the spine cracks a little bit. You know, it's a fragile spine, and of course these two.
I cry out real quick. It's like, oh no.
He says, "Oh, don't worry. I acquired that one a while back. That one's not in too good of shape. Luckily, it's the newest of them all." And
out of character, do you want me to just keep these because of my feet?
yeah, of course you can. This ancient book has a tattered cover and spine. Along the spine, it says Volo's Guide to the North. The tattered book is surprisingly thin due to it only having a few pages inside. It looks as though only page 5 and page 352 are left. Behind these 2 pages is a larger piece of parchment. Unfolding it, you notice there is a map of the local area. Page 5.
The road east of Moribar leads ultimately to the Great Worm Cavern. This is the holy site of the Uthgardt tribe, the Great Worm tribe to be more specific. This cave is to be avoided at all costs, as there is most certainly dragons there present. Also, it is rumored that this has tunnels leading into the Underdark. There are a few places for civilized folk here. This is the edge of civilization itself. The largest settlement is called the Keep on the Borderlands, named that way by the people of Moribar. His nickname is fitting, however. The locals simply call it the Keep. This keep doesn't have an official name, apparently. However, it is ancient, most likely thousands of years old. I heard from a very wise man, who is highly critical of my works, that this was created by the ancient Netheril Empire over 2,000 years ago. My long-bearded critic also mentioned that there are traces of ancient Netheril ruins throughout the landscape. This will be noted in my descriptions further along in my guide. Let's start with the first stonework, which is found throughout the ancient ruin. It will appear that these are made...
Page 352.
Number 2. Until you have slept under the stars of the north, you don't know what cold is. Bring extra clothing to wear, and even more to burn, to keep yourself warm. Don't, I beg, burn this guidebook. The information herein may save your very life several times over. If this guide does save your life, or even help you out a bit, tell your friends and look for my other guidebooks. Keep in mind, this one blessing from the gods. In the north, there are few insects, and remarkably fewer of the sort that sting, bite, or buzz around the heads of humans. May good fortune find you on your trail and to lead you to what you are looking for. Whatever befalls, though, I urge you to remember with favor the name Volenthamp Gadam, 1357 DR. P.S. Despite hunting many days, I've never laid eyes on the fabled hunter of men, the many-fanged grey cat of the north. I'd very much like to hear from anyone who has met this fiend and famed predator and survived to...
And then this is folded up inside.
Yay!
The fog of war has been relieved. There we go.
Is it like separate inside?
Yeah, not separate completely.
Is this part of the book?
I believe so. I'm not really too sure. I'm guessing so. That's the local lay of the land. I really haven't had time. I mean, I've looked it over, and I don't know. It's not my forte, but it's interesting.
I'm gonna go ahead and like sketch it out because I want to preserve the whatever should be with the book. But I'm gonna sketch that out as best as I can.
Oh yeah. I would say to do that completely, it would take about an hour. Not too long.
That's fine.
Okay.
If they come back for me, I'm doing a very good service right now.
Okay. All right. So it's your deal there. It's and going back to you guys.
So what are you two going to get into while we're here? We're staying the night, correct?
Now, what time would it be? Let's actually do some count. So it's 7 counts, so 7 deals away. So you can move a total of 20 with Vinco's hindrance. So that would be, I'd say about 11-ish o'clock. So it's still morning time.
Well, we spent an hour eating with him resting.
Yes,
and then
11.
now it's been an hour with him being done.
It'll be at 1 until when he's actually completely done.
Okay.
That's what you think, guys.
Well, depending upon when the little one gets done, we can see how much daylight we have left to possibly get back on the road.
Yeah, I have no interest in staying here any longer than need be. I need to get paid for my job.
The guy, the red hair guy, comes back over to you and he says, "How about that other ale? How about it?"
Do you have a shopkeep here in town?
Well,
Is that basically what we brought in?
Yeah, that's essentially where you've come. But yeah, no, we definitely. Let's see what we've got here. I'll bring up my inventory here. It's not much. He goes back behind the deal for a while and comes back with this right here.
Now, we've been walking next to the wagon. We haven't been riding with it. Yeah, so I'm tired as crap.
Well,
Like
we've been
all.
taking turns.
Yeah, can I see that?
Yeah, so if that's the case, then yeah, he's just relaxing and waiting to head back out. He doesn't really have anything to take care of in this
'Cause, I mean,
little township.
You can
keep
have
in
4
mind-
people riding and then 2 people walking at all times. So.
Well, even with it full of supplies.
So where are we on
Yeah,
this?
yeah.
You're in Quebec.
Yeah, okay.
Oh shit!
Just keep in mind your character hasn't gotten that yet.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I'm just trying to get my bearings on like what's north and south on what I can see.
He comes back with a handful of weird things. He has a spear in one hand and a javelin in the other, and he says, "I guess it'd be easier if you come back here." And he opens up he shows you back to the back room, and he says, "Now this is what we've got. Now, of course, we have any sort of provision that you're needing. I mean, of course, if you're needing food, if you're needing any type of simple goods."
Was I talking about using something to net a couple days ago? Net for something? Yeah. Oh.
6 silver. He looks back over to you and he says, "It is 6 silver, you know. It's not too shabby here. It's made in Lullaby. They tend to make fine nets."
I mean, you could fish, I guess. But I don't know how long we're going to be near water.
How big of it is it? Like capture a person?
Oh, yeah, it's a combat net, but it's of
Yeah.
course made for fishing. However, can definitely be used for
I'm gonna buy
a casting net, is what it is.
How much does Durhale know about Volo?
Oh, give me a history check. I'll give you advantage on that though.
Same numbers twice. 21.
Okay, no, yeah. So Volo, and his full name, of course, is Volothamp, and that's how you would probably know him, as Volothamp. Volothamp Getaram. Now, Volothamp you've run into his Volo's guides. Now, Volo traveled 100 years ago, of course. He's well dead now. Over 100 years ago, he traveled all around Faerun, and he basically made a guide to each part of the realm. You know, one for Coromir, one for the north, one for even just Waterdeep alone has its own. And he doesn't go into dangerous things. He basically just focuses in on inns to stay at, and things like that. It's it's kind of a traveler's guide, is what it is.
to the galaxy.
He's definitely well known around the realms because Elminster actually talks in his book, and you definitely know at least of Elminster.
He would probably be like a fucking legend or
Oh, yeah.
legend to me.
Oh yeah, very much. He's more of a mythical figure more than anything.
He's like an aspiration for me, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take a little trip down to the creek,
Okay.
down that little path while we're waiting for.
You can see, actually, there's fishermen going out. Now, down south, this is the biggest crazy thing, is that south, once you get to this bank, and you can actually see over this is a 45-degree sloped bank, which is really hard to get down, and of course they have like boards laid down here to get in a zigzag pattern to actually get up and down the deal there. And then here, there's a little place where you could stand, a little flat area that they've carved out. And along the banks is a bunch of boats there.
Just gonna skip some rocks.
Okay, yeah, you go on down and you skip some rocks. You can you can tell that one of the fishermen's like kind of rows over to you, and he kind of rows over near you. He goes, "What are you doing? Come on, man! I'm trying to catch something here."
You think the rocks are gonna scare the fish away?
Says, when you're out here as much as I am, you get very, very superstitious.
Oh well, how far can you skip a rock?
He goes, okay. Well, if I beat you, then you have to skip. Then you have to skip
Absolutely.
out, and then if I win, you got to skip out.
We just old-fashioned roll off.
A good old-fashioned roll off. This is a dex roll. He gets a plus. He gets a plus 4.
I got a
He is a
6.
dexterous person.
He fucking destroyed me.
He skips it into the next bank because really it's not that big. So past here is just kind of marshy land, and it skips across the river and into the marshy land. He says, "It would have gone further if it weren't for those reeds over there."
I believe it would have, sir. You bested me.
He says, "You could skip rocks. I don't really care. I'm just trying to." And he hands you a little bottle of wine that he's been out of a little bladder, and he takes a sip and then hands it to you.
Sure, I take it.
And he says, "Well, I'm going to get back to fishing here, but good luck." And he looks you up and down. And he says, "You're not from here."
Nope, I'm not. We're just passing through. Brought goods in from the keep.
Oh, good. No, I guarantee that okay. I need to go on up there. I'll. He actually pulls in his boats, and he says, exactly, and he goes up the zigzag deal, and disappears, and you continue to skip rocks. Is anybody else buying anything from that list? Okay, very specialized. All right, so yeah, you copy the deal down, and you're ready to go.
Okay.
And you can memorize the note, essentially.
Yeah.
I mean, you could copy it if you wanted to write.
I'll probably copy it later.
Okay.
I just wanted to memorize for now. I see you're also in one of these ancient Netheril ruins. You set up shop here.
Yeah, exactly. This was definitely I'm not exactly too sure who it was a temple to, but I'm definitely sure, as far as my training in architecture, this was most definitely a temple of one type or another. And it's good to reconsecrate it. And looking at the definite bookshelves that were carved in the wall, I guarantee that this... I wouldn't doubt it if this was dedicated to a god of knowledge of some sort.
Possibly even Mistral.
It's very possible. It's very possible.
Is there any symbols anywhere?
No, it's very, very plain. It once, and he kind of shows you around, because he's slowly picking up that you're smart. He's not jumped right to it, basically. He then kind of shows you architectural features. He's like, yeah, we saw plaster all around the walls. It was covered in plaster at one time, and most likely he thinks that it was painted. But now it's just bare concrete, so it looks very dungeony. It looks very... but, of course, it is windows, naturally let in sunlight and everything, but very bare-bones place. He said, yeah, we came here, a few 10 years ago or so. If you can, now this is a very strange question query to ask a young kid. You haven't happened to seen any books for trade in the area or anything?
I've found no luck, unfortunately. I've also been searching myself.
Oh, if, I don't mean to outprice you, but if you happen to find any, definitely let me know. I will pay good money for them.
I will definitely make some donations. I'm not worried about gold myself, but, if I find any, as long as I get to read them first.
Of course. No, of course. You can read them as long as you want. You can stay as long as you want in Quebec. I'm having a hard time trying to teach these people how to read. It's kind of an uphill battle, I think. But
it's a little easy once you get the hang of it.
That it is. It's an initially really hard, but after about a year you get used to it. So. But yeah. If there's anything else, let me know, and you're more than welcome to stay here as long as you want and peruse the library.
Of course. My companions are waiting on me, and I must get back to them.
Says, well, it's good to meet you, and your name was?
My name is Durhale.
Durhale. Well, you can call me Livy.
Nice to meet you, Livy.
And he goes back to reading his book there.
That's an old nod to an old character.
Yeah. And there we go. So yeah, you leave the deal. Where would you guys be by now?
I'm just hanging out, wasting time, waiting for us to either head out or decide if we're staying.
Okay. Yeah, and you probably meandered back. You guys, it's a pretty small town. You definitely see where your companions are. Vinco is ready to go. He comes out with the boy, and they ready to go.
So, Sir Vinco, you ready to head out?
Yeah, I think so. I could have stayed another night there. That was pretty nice to have a break in a place with an actual mattress. But yeah, let's head on out.
Wait, though, Mighty Strike, you sure you're ready to go?
Feels fine. Now, is the wagon empty now, or are there still supplies on there?
Well,
that was coming.
They've definitely put some stuff on there, but it's very light. There's hardly anything on there. But yeah, you can easily ride inside the wagon.
I'm being lazy.
Well,
I'm
one
gonna.
of them because the other one's got the ore in it from Averdale.
Oh yeah.
Aquatani.
Yeah, exactly. So there is some of that also.
To Tipper tonight, I found you this that we could use. Hand you the map.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. Where did you find this?
I found a sketching of it in a book of Volo's Guide, actually, which is a remarkable author that writes guides around Faerun. I actually have a passage memorized that might pertain to us here in this place.
Interesting.
So yeah, you guys head out along the route. Now, how I would say it's going to be 1 o'clock when you actually leave. Now, how long until? I'd say about 10 miles. Where are you getting 10 miles?
Basically back to the crossroads. All right.
A little bit past.
Okay, a little bit past the crossroads. All right. It's evening once again, and
Would be about 4 miles out from the forest.
okay. Excellent. That's where you really want to be. Venko warns you of just staying away from that forest. The night is uneventful. You of course make a fire and take watches and everything. Sun comes up the next day, no problem.
At the fire. So that passage I read talked about the Great Word Cavern. where the Red Wizards, if they went to, apparently it used to be or still is a dragon slayer.
Oh.
Yeah, let's not go there.
Yeah.
I don't get paid enough for that.
Glad
What
you
piques my
pointed that
interest is why Red Wizards would voluntarily go there.
Do they need a reason? They're
They're from Fae.
wizards
They kinda
from
do whatever they
Fae. He's like, I don't know much about them, but
Denko goes, well, they probably speak dragon language. I'm guessing.
They probably do, but most dragons are not people you can negotiate with. They're very powerful creatures and very prideful.
yeah, I've never dealt with one, so I don't know, and I don't ever plan on knowing.
It's their death they're dealing with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never met one either, but I've read plenty of stories about them.
Well then, stories have lessons. Stay the hell away from them.
Yeah.
Don't deal with dragons.
Denko goes, yeah, we're not going to see the dragon.
I wasn't planning on seeing the dragon, but
Would make for a nice mount, though, wouldn't it?
Right? Yeah. I'll tame me
And
one
I
of
jab,
them.
I jab Tipperton right in the... Like, hey.
Animal companion.
All right, so you continue on the way. How far do we get on the second day?
We make it all the way back. 14. So
14, okay. Yeah, you cross the bridge once again. 92. Okay, it's great outside. It is absolutely beautiful outside. And you so you actually make it completely back to the keep. At what time would you make it back? Would have been
14 miles. So
14. So that would be near the end of the day. We're gonna say about 3 o'clock. And when you actually get back, so you get back to the keep. One thing you notice is that there's flowers on the gate when you actually come back. You're let in the gate, no problem. And then outside of every single door and all the different places throughout the whole keep, there is flowers on the doors. It is 3 o'clock, and it's unusual how many people there are outside at 3 o'clock. Usually people gather and actually eat and drink and all that nonsense at about sundown. So 6 to 7 is when people tend to do that. Maybe upwards of 8 if it gets that late out with the sun out. But yeah, everybody seems to be standing out and amongst, and they actually have flowers behind their ears, both ears.
Can I make
Seems that we're underdressed.
Yeah.
I'm
sort of
overdressed.
knowledge check to see what
I just general history is what you need.
natural
Anybody can
19
really.
Natural 19, 24.
Okay, it is in
12.
12. Okay, it's a 10. So if anybody wants to stab at it, it's pretty easy.
10.
No modifier to that.
Yeah.
All right. So anybody that got it, I'm assuming everybody got it. I think.
Yeah.
Okay. It is. And when you get there, you're like, oh man, that crept up on me. It's so the name of this month is called Myrtle. It's actually called the Melting. That's what a lot of people call it too. But in the center of Myrtle, essentially, and this is a roundabout now. There's a festival called Greengrass that goes on every year. And you're like, wow, that crept up on me. I didn't even think that was any time near now. Yeah, everybody's celebrating Greengrass. You can tell that they're pouring water on an area in the middle, trying to actually make mud, which is very strange. Now, what was our history checks, just so I can...
I had 13, actually.
13, okay.
Mine was 24.
Anybody above 15. That's... Okay, so so you guys know that it's very common to have wrestling matches around this time period. It's just kind of a sport, and then at the end of the night, you have this weird drinking game that tends to go on. Culturally, depending on where you are in the Faerun and Sword Coast, it actually changes. But usually, you drink, and then you have to do some sort of dexterous or physical task. You don't have to do it by any means, but yeah, all the people that you've met on the keep are actually in there. So if you want to talk to anybody, they're just floating around. It looks like all the businesses are closed or semi-open, or it's a weird time. So yeah,
I'm gonna start drinking.
So are they succeeding with the mud pit?
oh yeah, that's
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
They're trying to make it though. That's a part of the part of the deal.
I don't know about the mud wrestling part. I'm down with wrestling, but I don't know about the mud.
I thought you would be one that would love mud wrestling.
Come on,
Toby.
Mighty.
I mean, I'm
Put
cool
some silver
with
on you.
some wrestling, but I
Finko
don't
goes-
need to intentionally get myself dirty.
Yeah, we need to do that. How about? I think we can get. I've seen how strong you are. Now we can.
Can
we
I just
can
like
sucker
slap
some-
you to get you enraged?
We could sucker some people into some
Come
money.
on.
I think it'd be a good
grapple
idea.
isn't an attack.
Because everybody would underestimate the small one.
Well, exactly. That's what we got to do. Now,
I got to lose a couple matches first, so then when we actually
Exactly.
get in there, the stakes are high against me. So then we,
And I can be very persuasive.
yeah.
you can tell that Vinko loses himself a little bit, and you can tell that he's like digging in his coin purse now.
Oh, gee.
And he goes, "Boy, bring it over there." He's not even worried about working right now. He's just he's completely engrossed in you've hit his sweet tooth, his gambling apparently. He actually latches onto you and he says, "Let's go get some suckers out there." you're doing it right.
I'll run the book.
For a few
Yeah,
rounds,
yeah.
sure. Yeah.
You make sure they counted right, okay?
Correct.
What is this holiday called?
It's called Greengrass.
Greengrass. Yeah.
Greengrass. What is it, like Happy Greengrass Day?
It's not
Yeah,
even
basically.
green out. Everything's brown still.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially in the north.
I don't know. They got flowers, though. I'd imagine. Are they blooming? So we got to
Well,
be
yeah,
like
so
mid-spring at least.
It's actually for a lot of people this would be it's a colder than it would from where you are from. This would be warmer, but it's spring technically. It's definitely spring. I'd say it's about mid-spring is what it actually is. So
It would technically be like, to us, the spring equinox.
yeah, exactly. So yeah. Well, what are we doing? You can
I'm
definitely.
just gonna watch. Is anyone wrestling yet, or are they still just
they're
making
getting
pit?
ready. You
Okay,
can
I'll
see
just
that the
watch them do
men
that.
are standing in. There's a group of men that are standing. Most of them are guards, and they're actually standing in a line, kind of taking off their shirts, so you know kind of where the wrestlers are standing. Talbot, the mustachioed young or older man that sent you on this from the keep itself, so he's the captain of the keep. He comes over to you guys and he says, "Well, it looks like you did it."
Yeah.
Huh?
Now I'm looking for a beer.
Well,
we
that
all
can,
forgot that it was Greengrass Day.
yeah, exactly. You came at the right time. Now, are you are you wrestling?
I might throw my chit in the hat or something like that.
Well, good. I'm a little old, so I'm gonna pass on that. But
Clearly picked
how
up on the mics.
Talbot goes, oh, sorry. He says, so tell me about the trip. Now you made it all the way there. You definitely encountered something, I'm guessing.
Well, we got into a tussle on the way back from
Aquatani.
Aquatani.
Oh, good.
But that
It's
was about
only
it.
one.
Just a little group of hobgoblins, and then we made it all the way back to whatever.
Yeah, good. You actually.
Kivik, and then we
Kivik.
came back.
Well,
So
good.
now we're
good.
here.
Excellent.
Got
It's,
some more from Aquatani, and
He says, I'm going to go check that out. I will have Lucian bring you your money as soon as possible. Or, of course, are you winning the trade?
well, I think lots of us are going to be going for that credit in there. So how about we talk about this in the morning?
Oh, most definitely. Yeah, definitely. Anytime you want, go over to the quartermaster. Today, I think it's a little bit busy right now. And you can tell the dwarf quartermaster is actually like doing some calisthenics, some ridiculous-looking calisthenics, getting ready for the wrestling match. So yeah.
Hey, Toby, you should be doing that too. I can teach you some stretches if you'd like.
Have you seen me? Do I need stretches?
Yes, you would.
No, I do not.
I take a beer.
I go over and I do my own stretches.
Hobbit stretches.
I do my own stretches.
I take a beer and act more
You're
drunk
doing
than
that
I am,
stretch wrong. You need to
and go
flex
over
the
to all
muscle.
the other guys.
Shut up! Go away! Shoo you away.
Persuasion. Is that what I'd be doing? Persuasion,
Yeah, it'd be a bluff.
bluff, but bluff's not a thing.
Persuasion.
Deception. Maybe a bluff. Okay,
Deception.
15.
Deception.
yeah.
Deception.
Deception.
Oh,
Yeah.
deception, I guess. So that would just be a 13.
13, excellent. All right.
So I'm just kind of bumping into everybody and be like, "So we're gonna have us a wrestling match?"
So you,
I gotta figure out the rules for
And then
this. Hold up. Like, I'm gonna find someone who's around there's like, so what are the rules?
the guy next to you, who's the dwarf, who's like doing the weird calisthenics. It's definitely a dwarf thing. He says, "Okay, guys, so here's what we're doing."
Put the other guy in the mud, right?
Yeah, well, I think it's something like that. It's a little bit, simpler.
Punch him in the face. So
Quiet, halfling.
No punching. He says, so first person down for 3 rounds, and when I mean 3 rounds, that means 3. So basically, if you are put on your back and you are unable to get out of the grapple, in 3 turns, it's done. So you get grappled, you start off standing, whoever grapples and keeps
like-
somebody grappled for 3 turns
That's
wins.
like 12 seconds. Jesus.
Yep,
Christ.
that's a hard one.
Yeah.
Come
But
on,
you
they
guys
count
are
the 10
oiled,
in
so
the
WWE.
3 turns, that's 18 seconds.
Yep.
Did you hear me yell at you when I called you halfling?
What?
I was like, "Quiet, halfling," when you said something.
Oh.
I'm picking a fight with you.
Yeah, no.
By the way.
I want to find out what the rules are. I mean, I'm cool punching someone in the face, but I imagine don't appreciate that. So
The dwarf comes over and says, "No punching in the face. That's not allowed. That completely disqualifies you, and you can't go onto the."
So,
Oh, don't worry. I doubt he could reach that high for most of us.
yeah, be more like punching
why don't
him
you
in
come
the
down here and
penis.
say that?
What do you want to go first?
No. On a watcher bout to find out what I'm getting into. Maybe next round.
So eventually, Talbot comes over and it basically completely lays out the rules. So
Can we like meta talk for a second?
Oh, yeah,
Considering
yeah,
that
that's-
maybe that we probably have done this before. Like,
Oh yeah, that's perfectly
kind of
fine.
hustled and stuff like that. So how are we going to do this? Should it be like
And it's probably you
typically
me,
whispering.
the drunk guy, kind of beat you so you can get your losses?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna intentionally lose like 1 or 2
To
rounds,
me.
but that's why I wanted to know the
But
rules.
that's
though.
why me being like drunk and like stupid, then I get my ass kicked by somebody who's better, and then you get in and fight, and that way I can bet bigger.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's why I wanted to figure out how they do the things here with the
Yeah.
gambling and the whole stuff like that, because you
Now
gotta
the-
know how you're gonna hustle them.
The gambling would be all up to you. Now, how much are you going to give Vinco? Because he's going to be the main man, and he's going to have Durhale as his side guy. It's the intermediate person.
So there's no house, right? So we're not like the house
No.
isn't gonna pay out. So it's just versus. It's gonna be a pot, and whoever gets it wins the pot.
Yeah.
and then we have to split it by the. Okay.
Well, now he's individually betting an individual is what he's going to do. He's
Oh,
going to go
okay.
up to an individual. I don't think you're supposed to bet here, but who knows? It doesn't seem to be. It's definitely nothing that's fully like. There's not a guy taking, running the numbers. There's probably somebody. It's between individuals. Vinco goes over and he says, "Okay, guys, so who
You're
am I
the
betting
bet
for?"
placer, by the way, so they can see. No, like you got to take like my money because I can't be seen placing bets while I'm in the fight.
He goes, "I'll take your money. It's no problem."
Oh, okay. So Vinco's going to be the bet placer.
All right,
This is,
and I'll throw like the first 2 rounds because you got to get if 1 loss is like he just someone had to lose. 2 losses is like that guy kind of sucks.
So how it's going to go, and the so how much money are we throwing in? I just need to know that first.
I'm not throwing any money down.
How much
yet.
money are other people throwing in at this point? Is anybody?
Well, isn't
I'd
it,
imagine it's
isn't
probably
it,
in copper,
isn't
maybe
it match
silver.
by
yeah.
match
So I don't
basis,
want to
so-
like.
Well, and this is 1 match is all we get. So basically, how this is going to
Okay.
work is there's going to be, and the mustachioed man, the Lucian or Talbot stands in front of everybody and he says, "All right, so we have 4 pairs. Now, out of those 4 pairs, the winner faces the next round, and then we go on to the final 2.
Oh, so you do have to.
You
can't-
wanna win.
It's hard to hustle that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
winning is hustling in this.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, we can kind of fake it, and like I would still lose. Like
Well, I mean, yeah.
you would.
There's
move
no
on.
reason to hustle.
So
Just try to win.
No.
That's
The
really
best
biggest
way to
thing.
do this is either
That's all.
You guys
either
have better stats than
No,
they
what we
do.
do is we try to compete, but we try not to face each other until very early or very late, because I can only rage twice. So that's every. And if there's gonna be
There's 2 matches. You can rage
Well,
both
2
times.
This grapple's just adding
Yeah.
your strength, right?
I believe
no,
it's
there's
a
gonna be a
strength.
total of 3
3.
because you have
Total
2,
of 3.
2, and yeah.
Tipperton's going to go over here to one of the towers and stay in that.
So-
Just keep an eye out.
Okay.
and
I've gotta
about,
have-
as well as watching every once in a while.
Essentially, I'm gonna have to have you throw the match. Whenever you face me, throw the match.
Now it's going to be random who gets who. So
All right, so we'll do this later because I want a real one.
Well, I mean, we might face each other first off, though.
Oh.
Yeah. So
and on a 1, you guys face each other off. So it's a 1 out of 4 chance that you'd actually be paired together. So 4. You guys are paired completely separately.
Opposite side of the bracket, so the only way
Yeah.
you would ever face each other is
I'm coming after you, halfling.
Yeah.
the vinyl.
Bring it, old man.
All right. So and he says, "All right," and then
Half elf, idiot.
you
Exactly.
you begin to notice that Talbot goes, "All right, guys, bring out the oil." And then from this room right here, the inn, the young halfling, or the I guess
Not
he's
doing
middle
this
aged.
freak, are we?
Oh yeah, very much. No,
Oh
it's-
God, we're all
it's-
nude.
Yeah, this
Oh,
is
God.
This is very. I mean, you would probably wear something, but you know, things fly out. You know, that just happens.
Stand up in front of you, like, does this intimidate you, halfling?
I've thrown mine off my shoulder. No.
the halfling woman brings over a pot of the oil and basically kind of throws some on you, throws some on your front, throws some on your back. Does so for each person, and it's disadvantaged for every single roll.
Wait, the oil?
Yeah. Thank you for watching Keep on the Borderlands. Once again, please like and subscribe to Opportunity Attacks so you never miss an episode.